Okay, so triangles and coordinate proofs. This is a little bit different than what we've seen in the chapter. They do put this on testing sometimes, which is why they have like a whole lesson in the textbook on it. It's different, it's weird, but I think I can make it make sense so that way if you saw it on a test, you could figure it out, and that is the goal. So, coordinate proof is a proof that uses the coordinate plane to prove geometric concepts, which we'll see. These are guidelines for how to set this up. This will probably make more sense once we get into it, but we're going to use the origin as a vertex or the center of a figure. We're going to place at least one side of the polygon on an axis, either the x or the y axis. Keep the figure in the first quadrant if possible, and use coordinates to make computations as simple as possible. Okay, so what is it talking about, and what does this look like? So, example problems, we're going to position and label each triangle on a coordinate plane based on like these instructions. It says isosceles triangle MNP with base MN that is A units long. So what we're going to do is draw a coordinate plane to start with, like this. Okay, so it says to draw an isosceles triangle with base MN. So what we're going to do on here is draw a segment here, and then I'm going to try to draw the same segment this way. And here is our isosceles triangle. It says that the base is MN, so I will label this point M, this point N, and then P will be right here. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do is actually identify coordinates for each of these points. It says this base is A units long, so it's A units long, and that's going to help me determine my coordinates. So for N, and this will look weird at first, it's alright. If this is A units long, this point would be at 1/2 A, 0. Move that up a little bit. So if this is A units long, then this point is at 1/2 A, 0. Like I said, it's going to be weird. It's just go with it. That's going to be the saying for today. And then if this is at 1/2 A, then this would be at negative 1/2 A, 0. Then point P right here is at 0 for your x coordinate, and then your y coordinate, we don't have the skills yet to calculate that, or we haven't learned the skills yet, but or maybe we have, but we're not doing that today. So we'll just call it B. Okay, so now number 2, just looking at a different situation. Isosceles right triangle PQR with hypotenuse PR and legs B units long. So this one will look like this. Draw a coordinate plane. So we're trying to use the x and the y axis as much as possible. This isosceles triangle is a right triangle. So I'm going to put a point right here and here, trying to get them the same distance from the origin. And I'm going to draw my triangle. This can be a little longer. It's supposed to be isosceles, so this is supposed to be the same length as this. And then it's also supposed to be a right triangle. Hypotenuse is PR, so I'll put PR, and then Q would be right here. And then the legs are B units long. B units long. Cool. Okay, so now I'm going to try to figure out coordinates. Well, Q is pretty easy. It's at 0, 0. Got that. Then for R, this length is B. It tells me that my legs are B units long, so this would be at B, 0. And then P would be at 0, B, because again, that leg is B units long. Okay. Next one, equilateral triangle TUB with sides C units long. By the way, with this, all of the questions will be multiple choice, so you're really not drawing things from scratch. The most you'll have to do is identify something based on a description. So I got coordinate plane right here. Equilateral triangle TUB. Okay. I don't know if this looks like an equilateral, but it's supposed to be an equilateral. So it's supposed to be all the same length. So it's T, U, B. And then all the side lengths are C units long. C, C, and C units long. Okay, so T, I can do that one easily. It's at 0, 0. Point B, this length is C, so it'll be C, 0. And then U, this happens sometimes when you have either isosceles or an equilateral. This is at the halfway point here. So the x value is actually 1/2 C. And then the height, we haven't learned that skill yet. We're just keep it at B. Okay. And for right here, right triangle ABC with one leg twice as long as the other. So we are going to draw our coordinate plane again, like this. One leg is twice as long as the other, so I'm going to try to make this one kind of short, and this one like double over here. Okay, right triangle ABC. So I will label this A, B, and C. Okay, one leg twice as long as the other, so I will label this A, and this is a length of 2A. And then point A will be at 0, 0. And then C will be at 2A, 0. And then B will be at 0, A. How is this tested? Another thing I've seen on testing is they'll have you use these coordinates to find the distance between those 2 points or that length. So sometimes they'll have you use the distance formula, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus 1 squared, and have you plug in these coordinates. Like, let's say this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So at some point, they're like, okay, identify the equation, and you're just plugging stuff in. C0 minus A squared, and it looks weird like this, but essentially you solve the distance formula for the variables. You could continue, but that's how I've seen it shown up before. Yeah, that's fun. Okay, next page. We're gonna skip the bottom part. Okay, we're gonna cross this out because we just essentially did that. Okay, and then here they've already drawn it, and then you have to figure out the missing coordinates of the triangle. So for number 5, it shows A at 0, 0, this at 2P. Remember, when you have isosceles or an equilateral, this is at like the halfway point here on the x-axis. So C would then be at half of 2P, which would be P. And then they already gave you a Q there, so you just keep that. Okay, and number 6 shows an isosceles triangle. These lengths are the same. So if this is at the x-coordinates 2A, then for T, that would be at 2a for the x-coordinate as well. And then since this is the same length, the y-coordinate would then be at 2a as well. Okay, and 7 shows an isosceles triangle again. It wants to know what this e-coordinate is. Well, this is at 2g for the x, so this would be at negative 2g, 0. And then for f, it's just asking for the x-coordinate. Well, that is right at 0, so it'd be just 0b. And then over here for 8, it doesn't say it's like isosceles or anything, so we can't even say what this height is. Let's see. So the x would be 0, and then this height here, we don't know. So we'll just use another variable. And we're stopping there. So at this point, if you haven't been absent, your packet should be all the way filled in, and you can turn it in, and I'll try to grade it while you work on the homework. The homework, you're working on narrowing things down, like figuring out the best answer. So don't overthink it. If you need help, let me know. It's not a huge question bank, so after you do one attempt, if you want to work with somebody else to like share and collaborate, that is cool. But the homework's on Schoology. Get a laptop, get started, and yeah, okay.